evening, Prime Minister praised GTT's drive for innovation, growth, and advanced service. Minister of Public Works, Demerara Harbour Bridge repairs are far from finished. Ministry of Health removes visitation restriction at Lilliandale Hospital. In the region, Jamaica bans music and TV glorifying crime. And internationally, Trump called to testify before committee over Capitol Hill riots. Welcome to another broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. According to the Minister of Public Works, Bishop on Edgehill, though the light traffic is flowing across the Demerara Harbour Bridge, the works are far from completion. This revelation was made during a press conference in the ministry's boardroom on Thursday, saying that the total cost of the repairs had reached an astonishing $1 billion, with additional work required before the bridge is fully operational. The Public Works Minister praised the Harbour Bridge engineers once more, expressing that the work being done is nothing short of a miracle. Quote, while everybody is saying that traffic is flowing and moving, they are still working miracles below, changing out pontoons and doing all kinds of things while still facilitating the movement of people and goods to ensure that commerce is moving. It is nowhere near finished. End of quote. The Demerara Harbour Bridge was commissioned on the 2nd of July 1978. The 1,851-meter-long floating toll bridge, which spans 4 miles across the Demerara River, must be operable for both vehicular and maritime traffic. The bridge was closed for 3 days after a Panamanian flag oil tanker carrying fuel for the Guyana Oil Company Limited collided with it last Saturday. Bridge engineers worked swiftly on the damaged bridge spans, resulting in the structure being partially operational Monday evening. Nonetheless, Minister Edgehill emphasized that the vessel's owners would bear the expense of the repairs. A board of inquiry is presently looking into the incident. Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips on Thursday complimented the telecommunications sector liberalization by providing Guyanese consumers with the push for innovation, growth, and advanced service. During a press conference held at GTT's new Ocean View Executive Conference area in the Pegasus Suite and Conference Center, Prime Minister Phillips said that it was this drive that helped GTT's fiber service achieve a milestone.
Our government is happy to receive the announcement of the extensive fiber roll-out efforts conducted by GT&T to ensure the reliable connectivity of Guyanese while strengthening the communities they serve and fostering innovation within the telecommunications sector.
The Prime Minister, who also holds the ministerial portfolio for the telecommunications sector in Guyana, underscored the expansion.
Today, we see a shining example of that through the initiative by GTT in its fiber rollout campaign, which saw the recent connectivity of 2,800 homes, bringing their total to over 100,000 homes connected with their service. This show of initiative and genuine consideration for the needs of our people aligns perfectly with our government's commitment to modernizing Guyana's infrastructure, including its utility services, to support a flourishing economy.
He also emphasized the importance of ICTs as he announced that the government is developing an ICT master plan that will significantly enhance the efficiency and productivity of Guyana's public and private sectors. Expounding further, the Prime Minister spoke to the need for further collaboration between the government, stakeholders, and investors.
For continued partnerships to ensure the development of the ICT sector of Guyana. And our government stands ready to support initiatives such as we see here today.
Chief Operation Officer of Home Solutions and Fixed Networks, Mr. Eshwar Takruddin, who led GTT's press conference, said the company is honoring its commitment to improving internet quality in order to reliably connect its customers and provide the right ICT climate to support government's development agenda. Ranks of Regional Police Division 6, led by a deputy superintendent along with prison officers, conducted a search of the New Amsterdam prison, during which a number of contraband items were confiscated earlier this morning, Friday, October 14th. The following items that were confiscated by the ranks during the search were 2 Ziploc bags containing leaf seasoned stems suspected to be cannabis, 17 improvised weapons, 23 lighters, several razor blades, 3 pairs of scissors, and 11 cell phones. The items were taken to the Central Police Station, where they were lodged to be disposed of. The ranks were also assisted by 15 members of the Ghana Defence Force, who provided coverage on the outer parameters of the prison. Stick around after the break. Ministry of Health soon to remove visitation restrictions at Lilliandale Hospital, and Golden Grove woman remanded for killing alleged abuse partner.
Cheryl, girl, you want me? Sorry, I'm interrupting y'all.
Marla, I'm here taking the census.
Girl, you done got a husband already, huh?
Miss, I am a census taker, going door to door so that everyone can be interviewed and counted in the National Census 2022.
What is the census though?
Well, the Population and Housing Census is a count of the population and all the buildings every 10 years.
Getting counted transforms an entire nation.
From Region 1 to Region 10.
You know what? I believe our village needs a health center.
I think it needs some roads too. You see the man boots out there, how it's full of mud, eh?
That's why I'm asking Mrs. Da Silva a few questions from our questionnaire. We record the answers and then the data is used to help shape the future of the country.
Oh, so the two y'all not...
Oh gosh.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our stores, you're welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries, and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. However, Maison Francois is more than just chocolate. We serve lunch, dinner, afternoon tea, and even Sunday morning mimosa brunch. Our convenient location at 133 Thomas Street, Kitty, makes it the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. Treat yourself with the taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown. Only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Health will soon be lifting the visitation restrictions currently in place at the Infectious Disease Hospital as early as next week. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony, during his COVID-19 update on Thursday, said there are a few COVID-19 patients at the institution. The hospital is also now accommodating patients with other infectious diseases.
The majority of patients that we have there are for other diseases. So we have taken a decision that we are changing the visitation rules, because when we only had COVID-19 patients, we were not allowing people to visit patients in the hospital. So we are changing the rules. We will be allowing visitation.
The health minister said these arrangements would go into effect in the new week following the laying out of the ground rules for visitation. Minister Anthony added that there are several other infectious diseases in Guyana which may require hospitalization. In that regard, persons visiting the facility must meet some requirements. Persons will be required to wear personal protective equipment, which will be provided by the hospital.
So there are a number of infectious diseases that we would normally work on, and unfortunately some of the patients would require hospitalization. So in cases of TB, for example, some of these patients require hospitalization, and we have been using the facilities that we have at Ocean View to hospitalize some of these infectious disease patients. So that's why anybody who's coming there should take protective measures, right? So when we open it up, we hope that the general public would cooperate with us.
The minister further announced, too, that the requirement for persons to do PCR tests before surgery has also been lifted.
This is just an additional requirement for them to know maybe the status of the patient. But what we found sometimes, it has become now a barrier, preventing people from accessing surgery that has been planned, causing numerous delays and so forth. So we think that we can change it, make it more easy for these patients who require surgery to be able to access that surgery.
Very soon, the Chief Medical Officer would issue the new rules pertaining to the requirements. A 30-year-old woman, Aquila Abrahams of Onion Field, Levon Intention, East Coast, Demerara, was remanded to prison for fatally stabbing her reputed husband during a domestic abuse dispute when she appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court today, Friday, October 14th. Abrahams was not required to plead to the capital offense when she appeared before Magistrate Fabio Azor. She was remanded to prison until November 30th. The court heard that on October 10, 2022, at Sideline Dam, Golden Grove, East Coast, Demerara, Abrahams fatally stabbed her common-law husband, Michael Wilson. The couple cohabited at Sideline Dam for the past 2 years. Reports said that domestic problems existed between the couple, and Wilson frequently accused Abrahams of being unfaithful and would physically and verbally abuse her. During an argument on Sunday, October 9th, the victim told the suspect that she was ending their relationship and she would be returning to her parents' home. Sometime around 8 a.m. on Monday, Abrahams and Wilson were at home. They got into a violent argument while Abrahams was packing her belongings to move out of their home. Wilson, who was armed with a knife, assaulted the woman and cut her on her left arm. The woman disarmed Wilson and dealt him 2 stabs to his abdomen. Wilson was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was admitted to the emergency unit in an unconscious state and subsequently died while receiving treatment. Abrahams will return to court on November 30th, 2022. Don't go away after the break. Nigeria flood. Thousands of dispersed people in need of help, and North Korea fires missiles after aircraft buzz South Korean border.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold, and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our stores, you're welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries, and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. However, Maison Francois is more than just chocolate. We serve lunch, dinner, afternoon tea, and even Sunday morning mimosa brunch. Our convenient location at 133 Thomas Street, Kitty, makes it the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. Treat yourself with the taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown. Only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Cheryl, girl, you won't believe. Sorry, I'm interrupting y'all.
Marla, I'm here taking the census.
Girl, you done got a husband already, huh?
Miss, I am a census taker, going door to door so that everyone can be interviewed and counted in the National Census 2022.
What is the census though?
Well, the population and housing census is a count of the population and all the buildings every 10 years.
Getting counted transforms an entire nation.
From Region 1 to Region 10.
You know what? I believe our village needs a health center.
I think it needs some roads too. You see the man boots out there, how it's full of mud, eh?
That's why I'm asking Mrs. Da Silva a few questions from our questionnaire. We record the answers and then the data is used to help shape the future of the country.
Oh, so the two y'all not.
Oh gosh.
We counting.
Hey, this is your fancy vehicle and it's your house?
Yes, this is my vehicle and actually I'm waiting on my land. I'm actually renting this house for $50,000.
$50,000? You head boy, you crazy, you mad, you head no good. Why you buy? Look, let me show you the light. Come with me.
Come on down to Fabulous Homes today. Pay $50,000 every month for 36 months or until you reach 50% of your house costs. Move in after 75% of the cost has been paid.
This is wonderful. Let's go. Sign me up.
Alright, let me go and dash away your landlord.
To explore our home ownership program, check our Facebook page for more information or come down to our office at Avalon Friendship.
Hey, Chinese, thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
You got through?
Yes.
Call us at 227-1380 or 615-8740. Fabulous Homes International Realty, changing tenants into homeowners.
At Fabulous Homes, we bring your dreams to life.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Jamaica's Broadcasting Authority has banned content that glorifies illegal activity such as drugs and gun use. The new rules cover TV and radio, including music, and list specific topics that are off limits. Scamming, drug abuse, and the illegal use of firearm cannot be promoted, and swearing or near-sounding replacements are also banned. But the strict nature of the ban has been criticized by some artists who argue music is a reflection of life. It comes amid high level of violent crimes in Jamaica in 2021. The island nation had one of the highest murder rates in Latin America and the Caribbean. But the broadcasting agency says the use of public airwaves to broadcast broadcast songs that glorify illegal activity could give the wrong impression that criminality is an acceptable feature of Jamaican culture and society. This is not the first time some music has been banned in Jamaica. In 2009, regulators banned music promoting sex, violence, murder, or arson when daggering, a type of sexually suggested dancing, gained its popularity. In North America, the U.S. House Select Committee investigating last year's storming of Capitol Hill has voted to subpoena former U.S. President Donald Trump to testify. Trump has never before been forced to give evidence before Congress, not even during his 2 impeachment trials. Al Jazeera's Heidi Castro reports.
Those in favor will say aye.
Aye. The vote was unanimous to subpoena or legally compel former U.S. President Donald Trump to testify before Congress about his failed attempt to overturn the 2020 election.
They're getting into the Capitol tonight.
And his alleged role in inciting a riot at the U.S. Capitol in the name of remaining in power.
We are obligated to seek answers directly from the man who set this all in motion.
This is a question about accountability to the American people. He must be accountable. He is required to answer for his actions.
Trump has called the investigation a partisan hoax and is expected to appeal the subpoena, the beginning of a long legal battle. In response to Thursday's vote, Trump ridiculed the committee, calling it a bust, and again falsely alleging massive voter fraud in the 2020 election.
The vote to subpoena Trump was the surprise ending to a string of public hearings held by a Democrat-led committee that has been trying to hold Trump accountable for his role in the January 6th attack. Committee members say Trump was at the center of a premeditated plan to cling to power, which directly led to the violence on Capitol Hill.
We need an area for the House members.
Dramatic new video released Thursday showed lawmakers evacuating as rioters breached the Capitol.
We have got to finish the proceedings, or else it will have a complete victory.
As the mob called for her demise, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other congressional leaders tried to coordinate a security response.
It's just horrendous, and all at the instigation of the President of the United States.
While Trump watched and did nothing, according to witnesses.
Why don't you get the president to tell them to leave the Capitol, Mr. Attorney General, in your law enforcement responsibility?
The violence led to several deaths. Nearly 1,000 rioters have been charged and dozens sentenced to prison time. Trump has not been charged. The congressional panel must decide whether to make a criminal referral against him, and it's working under a deadline. Americans will decide next month which party controls Congress. If Republicans take back the House, they'll likely shut down the Trump investigation immediately.
The committee stands adjourned.
Heidi Castro, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Internationally, severe flooding in Nigeria is making people increasingly desperate. Hundreds of thousands of people in several communities are out of reach, and many families are waiting for news of their loved ones. Al Jazeera's Ahmed Idris reports.
Here in Umueri, conditions for the displaced are getting desperate. With just 2 hours to sunset, food is served in this camp that officials say now accommodates hundreds of people.
This food is not enough for about 3,000 people that is here. 3,000 people depend on this food, and we got it from charity ones.
She says they haven't received any relief supplies from government. This year's floods have ravaged at least 27 of Nigeria's 36 states, destroying lives, crops, and homes in regions like Anambra.
Officials here tell us that hundreds of thousands of people in several communities are still out of reach. Nothing has been heard from some of them in nearly a week. And the passengers of a boat that capsized a week ago, killing about 90 people, were fleeing their submerged communities in search of help.
Emergency agencies had warned of destructive floods this year, but the level of government preparedness was poor. So too was people's response to evacuation warnings. That has left victims like Nkechi and Nene wondering what the future holds.
There's nothing to go back to if my house is left standing. My animals, crops, everything is gone.
Anambra is one of the worst affected states. Officials say the danger signs have been there, yet the federal government has failed to act.
Cameroon warns about this. And so we know that every 2-3 years this happens. Cameroon will open up the dam. And then it comes here and wipes off everything. I mean, it's gonna get to a point where the water will come and envelop the entire country.
Nigerian officials say humanitarian supplies have been distributed nationwide, but that is little comfort for hundreds of thousands who are yet to receive any help from government at any level. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Otuacha.
And finally, North Korea has fired at least one short-range missile into the eastern waters and flown fighter jets near its border in South Korea. It is the latest in a series of weapons tests in the past 2 weeks. Al Jazeera's Rob McBride reports.
A flurry of activity in the early hours of Friday, happening close to the heavily fortified DMZ, the demilitarized zone separating the two Koreas, further raising tension levels. The North carried out another short-range ballistic missile test, reckoned to total more than 40 since the start of this year. It landed in the sea separating the Korean peninsula from Japan.
Whatever the intentions are, North Korea's repeated ballistic missile launches are absolutely impermissible, and we cannot overlook its substantial advancement of missile technology.
A North Korean air drill involving around 10 military aircraft flying towards the DMZ prompted the South to scramble its jets. And North Korean artillery fired an estimated 170 shells from its east and west coasts, violating, according to South Korea, a 2018 agreement not to carry out such exercises close to the border.
North Korea's artillery fire and short-range ballistic missile launch in the buffer zone of the East and West Sea are serious provocations that undermine peace and stability on the Korean peninsula as well as the international community.
North Korea says it carried out the drill in response to a South Korean artillery exercise on Thursday, accusing it of provocation. South Korea has also imposed unilateral sanctions against people and organizations involved in the North's weapons programs. It's largely symbolic, but it's the first time it's taken such action in 5 years, an indication of how relations have soured. On Monday, the North announced this unprecedented period of missile testing is aimed at developing its ability to launch a tactical nuclear attack on the South. With Friday's actions, the week ends as it began, with both sides seemingly locked in escalating tensions. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Seoul.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your further weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2's Headline News Update. We will be back on Monday at 7 p.m. with another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other. And do have a wonderful weekend.